Paul, how does it feel to be back aboard the Steve Irwin and reunited with your crew for Operation Zero Tolerance?
Well, I haven't been on the ship since March, so it's really great to be back. It's taken a long time to get here, but now that I'm here, I think we can focus on what we have to do, and that is to head down to the Southern Ocean and make sure we get to the Japanese whalers before they get to the whales.
Okay. And where have you been since you skipped Bale in Germany, and how did you get here?
It was about a 9,000-mile trip from Frankfurt to here, and as to where I was, well, that's classified, so we're not talking about that. It's a little inconvenient trying to go halfway around the world without a passport and without a credit card or anything like that. So, but how that was done was sort of a secure thing, so I'm not really discussing it.
Why do you feel it was necessary for you to flee Germany?
I was notified by somebody in the German Ministry of Justice that if I went in on the Monday, that I would be arrested, and that was on Saturday. And they said that I would be immediately sent to Japan, which was a bit of a revelation, because I thought it was Costa Rica that they wanted me to go to. So I don't think that there was any alternative, because if I go to Japan, I'll never get out. So the best thing to do was to leave, so we left on the Sunday.
Tell us a little bit about Operation Zero Tolerance. Why did you pick this name?
We picked the name Operation Zero Tolerance because we want to ensure that they take no whales at all, so zero tolerance. We're not going to tolerate any whaling by Japan this year at all. And also it's a play on the Japanese Zero, the airplane with the red ball and that. But mainly it's what we're aiming for is no kills.
Can you tell us anything about the newest vessel in Sea Shepherd's fleet, the Sam Simon?
The Sam Simon is presently in Australia and will be leaving on Monday. And should be hooking up with it certainly by the end of December. And it will be quite a surprise to the Japanese whalers when they see it.
What new tactics will you and your crew employ for Operation Zero Tolerance?
The only tactic that really is effective is to get on the stern slipway of the Nishan Maru and prevent them from loading whales. If they can't load dead whales, and they can't kill new ones. So that's really what we focus on doing. They try to keep us away from the Nishan Maru by putting harpoon vessels on our tail to relay our position onto the Nishan Maru. And actually that works for us too, because that keeps those harpoon vessels occupied with us instead of killing whales. So last year and the year before that, only 2 of the 3 harpoon vessels were able to actually whale. The other 2 were on our case. And now they have 3 harpoon vessels and we have 3 large ships. So the only way that tactic's going to work is that if they put all 3 on all of our 3 ships, then they don't have any harpoons left. But there's a possibility, of course, they might send 1 or 2 security vessels down. So we don't really know about that yet. But the other tactics, we harass them, mainly the harpoon vessels, and we harass them to keep them away from us so we can lose them so that we catch up with the Nishan Maru. But when it comes down to effective tactics, the only really effective tactic is blocking the stern slipway.
You explained that you needed to flee Germany because you found out that in fact Japan was after you. If that was the case and you've managed to not only flee Germany but make your way back to your flagship vessel, how do you think the Japanese whaling fleet and the Japanese government is going to feel about that?
The Japanese government is quite intent on capturing me. They seem to have this idea that if they can incarcerate me, that will shut down our operations in the Southern Ocean, which isn't true. Without me, the campaigns would still carry on. We have the ships, the crews, the captains, the officers. So they're misled there. But that's what they're focused on, and I think they're quite unhappy that they haven't been able to apprehend me. So the longer we stay out of their clutches, the better. I'm not going to get a fair trial in Japan, and it's all based on the allegations by Pete Bethune that he said that I ordered him to do this and ordered him to do that, when in fact I did not. But that was a plea bargain that he made with the Japanese, that in return for that they'd give him a suspended sentence. Yeah, the Japanese courts have a 99% conviction rate, so I'm not about to play that game with them.
in the media and what you're saying as well, there's a lot of speculation that if you went to Japan, you'd never get out or you wouldn't get a fair trial. How realistic is that? Some people may think that it's a bit of an exaggeration because after all, you're only saving whales. How much did Japan want you? What's the danger there?
Japan initially requested that I be put on the Interpol red list, and Interpol denied that request as being politically motivated. Costa Rica originally wanted me on the Interpol red list, and that was also denied by Interpol. It was only after I got arrested in Germany, and that was Germany's decision, completely independent of Interpol. And when I left Germany, that triggered that Japan and Costa Rica got me on this red list. But so the whole thing is there's a lot of politics involved. Nobody gets extradited for a crime where nobody's injured, no property has been damaged, nothing has been stolen. I mean, that's completely unheard of. And nobody's ever been extradited from the United States to Japan for any reason that I'm aware of, and nobody from Japan has ever been extradited to the United States, for example. So the very fact that they were willing to do that shows that there's a lot of politics involved in this. It's got nothing to do with the law.
So it seems that Japan's really pissed off with Sea Shepherd, or really aggravated by Sea Shepherd's activities. Why would that be?
Last year, we cost the Japanese whalers $22 million in losses. That's what they've admitted to. I think it's actually more. And over the last 9 years, over $100 million. That's a lot of money. So the loss of that kind of money motivates a lot of political pressure to try and to circumvent that. So I don't know and also we have the other factor is that the Japanese are extremely proud, and nobody's going to tell them what to do. And if you look anything at Japanese history, you'll see that a lot of political decisions are based on revenge and keeping face.
During your time when you were on the run, there was a few transmissions from you mentioning that you were at the sea. Can you talk more about that?
It was a 9,000-mile trip from Germany to join up with the ship here, and most of that was on the water. And the great thing about that is that the ocean is really the last frontier. It's lawless. We're outside the jurisdiction of any of these countries, certainly of Japan and Costa Rica. And that works both ways. It works in our favor in this case. It works against the whales and the fact that they go do whatever they want out here. It's the Wild West. People just go out here and make their own rules and make their own laws. And that's the kind of environment that we operate in. And we're pretty good at it. We've been doing it for over 4 decades. So the reason that they can't stop us from doing what we're doing is the reason they get away with what they're doing out here illegally. And if governments got together to stop all of these illegal activities by Japan and the shark finners and all these other people, then there wouldn't be any reason for us to be out here in the first place.
You mentioned the word illegal, and the government's doing something about what the Japanese whaling fleet does down in the Southern Ocean. Is what they do illegal, and what can the governments do about it?
Japan's targeting endangered and protected whales in an established international whale sanctuary in violation of a global moratorium on commercial whaling. It's highly illegal, and it's been condemned by practically every country in the world. Australia is taking Japan to court over this. New Zealand's just joined in with Australia to pursue a legal option. But the problem is international law, and especially international conservation law, isn't enforced because there's a lack of political and economic will to do it. And that's the reason these people get away with what they're doing. And the reason they're angry with us, of course, is that we're constantly exposing their illegal activities and bringing it to the attention of the world. And so that's made us a lot of enemies.
Can you just explain what happened when you arrived in Germany, and just sort of a review of where we're at now?
In May, I was on my way to the Cannes Film Festival, and I had taken a Lufthansa flight from Denver, to Nice, but it stopped in Frankfurt. So when we stopped in Frankfurt, the German police said that there was a warrant for my arrest, which I was quite surprised at. I didn't know that I had done anything that warranted a warrant. And so I thought, well, Japan's probably pulling some crap here. And then I was quite surprised to find out it was from Costa Rica. And I said, well, I haven't been to Costa Rica for a decade. And so apparently it has something to do with the fact that we disrupted an illegal shark finning operation in Guatemalan waters at the request of the Guatemalan government. We did go to Costa Rican court at the time, and the whole thing was completely dismissed. But in December of last year, the Prime Minister of Japan met with the President of Costa Rica, and just shortly thereafter, this warrant was issued. So I think that it was Japanese pressure on Costa Rica that you know, they were looking for every little reason they could to find some way legal way to use against me, and I think this is what they came up with. And then after that, they decided that since their request to have me red listed for the Bethune issues had been denied, they tried it again, and this time they got it through.